Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Watch What Crappens ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
I'm going to say something scandalous, Ronnie.
Go on.
Plants are meat. And not only are they meat, they're delicious, especially if they're from Impossible Foods.
They taste like beef.
Exactly. Impossible is making meat history this summer.
Yeah, they are. Summer of Impossible.
I am so excited to be spending time cooking my summer foods, all that good stuff. And guess what? We can use Impossible sausages, Impossible brats. I mean, it's going to be a great summer for Impossible Foods.
Impossible beef is made from plants and 19 grams of protein per serving, and it's better for the planet.
And it's meat.
Plant meat, correct. So if you're looking for something to grab for your grill, grab some Impossible beef.
Summer of Impossible.
Start making meat history today. Just head over to the meat aisle at your local grocery store, grab some Impossible beef or patties, and get grilling. HomeAglow is a marketplace that connects homeowners and renters with house cleaners.
You can get your home clean for $19, okay?
Highly discounted initial cleaning. They really want to prove themselves to you, and they did for me. There's discounted recurring cleanings with Forever Clean membership.
Yeah, just save time by hiring a professional to clean. Don't do it yourself. Okay, you get high-quality cleaning professionals. This is wonderful. We've used them. Our houses came out sparkling clean. It was wonderful. Visit www.homeaglow.com/podcast to book your first cleaning for only $19. That's HOMEAGLOW.com/podcast.
Watch what crappens, watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens? Crappens, crappens. Watch what crappens, watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens? Watch what crappens, watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens?
Hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo that we just love to talk about. I'm Ben Mandelker, and before we dive into the episode, just some quick little announcement. We recorded this episode. We start talking about catching up with gossip from last week, Kyle Richards, etc. We catch up on last week's Orange County. So we do so much catch up that this episode wound up being 2 hours long. So in the pursuit of digestibility, we've split it into two parts. So here's part one. If you want to watch or listen to the whole episode uninterrupted, go check it out with Crappens on Demand on patreon.com/watchwhatcrappens. The whole episode is up there as like one big video. And it'll be on there for a week before it goes over to YouTube. So maybe by the time you heard this, it's already on YouTube. Who knows? So if you just want it in one piece, go check it out on YouTube or on Patreon. Otherwise, here's part one, and then we'll also have part two a few hours later. Thanks. Hello, and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo that we just love to talk about. I'm Ben Mandelker, and joining me today is the handsome and wonderful Mr. Ronnie Karam. Hi, Ronnie. How are you?
Well, hi, Ben. How are you, honey?
I am just wonderful. You know, just another fun day here in beautiful Montana with the Real Housewives of Orange County. Not much to announce today. Come join us on Patreon, patreon.com/watchwhatcrappens. You can access all of our videos a week before they go on to YouTube. So for all that exclusive content, go there. You also get access to our bonus episode. We recorded it yesterday. It was 1 hour of lunacy. We went on to, it's Amazon Prime Day week. It's because it's 2 days, but it feels like a week. And we went and scoured it for good deals and finding things. I had a very dramatic moment searching for bowls. What was your big conquest, Ronnie? Do you remember the thing you were really looking for? It's kind of a haze.
I got a lot of stuff.
State.
I mean,
Yeah.
I got a lot. I dropped $200, right? It's the rocks that I got, guys. Don't worry, I'm still Jenny from the block. Okay.
So you can go to, that's on Patreon, and obviously you can listen to us go shopping, but we actually did that on video. We actually put up our browsers on screen, so you can actually browse along with us and see the things that we're looking at. It was really fun to do.
Fun.
So check that out. And and then just follow us on all our social media. You know, we're on TikTok.
Oh,
We're
God,
both
we're doing the
individually on
TikToks. We're both
Yeah.
individually there. We're on the Watch What Crappens. We've been making some tiki-talkies. We've been doing
I
some
just joined
cooking.
Threads. Which is
Oh, yeah,
fun.
we're on Threads, both of us individually, and Watch What Crappens. I mean, guys, there's just the
It's
world
just
is
so
just
much.
changing. Am I right?
The world is crazy. So look
It's
us up
like
there.
nuts.
Give us some follows. And there's not much else to say except, before we dive into Real Housewives of Orange County, we were going to do a big catch-up episode of the gossip of the past week, but we didn't. So we don't want this
We
week
did
to...
Crappy Lake instead.
Yeah, we did Crappy Lake instead. So why don't we take like a moment to address some of all the crazy gossip? It's basically the Kyle Richards stuff that happened during July 4th. Not coincidentally that the news would break the day before July 4th when like people are away, people are on vacation, at least in America,
Well, we've got a lot of, she's very like, president, it's like political, like breaking on a Friday of a holiday weekend. But I don't think it was necessarily an accident that it broke. I mean, I'm a cynical person and think everybody's making things up at all times. But do you guys really think that Kyle Richards is cheating with some lady? Okay. First of all, sexuality aside, because I don't really care. And I think that everybody can be fluid. Like, I mean, not me necessarily, but other people out there. I mean, I have a television. Okay. I have Netflix. I've seen Chriselle's new storyline, who also I think is kind of doing that for a storyline as well. Sorry, Chriselle. But I think a lot of people are doing shit like this for storylines, but people, who is going to cheat in that relationship? Kyle or Mauricio? I think Mauricio's cheating. I think Mauricio got his ass caught cheating. And I think that Kyle is doing this Morgan stuff and kind of like gay baiting in the press, like with we both have heart tattoos that look exactly the same. What? Dating us? I think they're kind of doing that on purpose so that Kyle doesn't have to talk about Mauricio probably cheating. And where's my evidence for that? I have none, but that's my guess.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't think the heart tattoos really indicate anything because I forgot what show it was. It was on This Week. We were watching it, and someone was wearing a sweatshirt that had that same exact heart. It's kind of like the vibe of the heart is like it's a heart written in cursive. It sort of like goes and swoops up and then crisscrosses,
Right.
down below. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, does that mean that like Kyle and Morgan Wade are in a throuple with this girl, whoever that was? I didn't commit to memory. So like it's sort of a generic tattoo, but I can see, I don't know what to make of the Kyle storyline. I really don't. Like, there is definitely a cynical part of me that says, wow, Vanderpump Rules had a huge resurgence with the cheating storyline. So much so that today it received 2 Emmy nominations. That's one crazy. For Outstanding Unscripted Reality Show, which, like, did we ever think we would see the day where Vanderpump Rules is being considered the best of anything? And
that
here
is
it is.
Crazy. It is literally crazy. I can't believe that. I mean,
but also
congrats.
And also the post-production department received a nomination for editing, I believe. So congrats, you guys, because you guys did have to do a lot of work piecing that shit show together. So like there was a cynical part of me that thought like, is Kyle Richards just dabbling in this scandal to try to get Scandival numbers for
Yes.
Beverly Hills, especially because did we even talk about the fact that like a month ago Garcelle was interviewed and said that like Beverly Hills this season gets back to what it does best. It's like it's not as much of a vicious season. It's just people getting along, which is boring sounding.
That sounds boring to me.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like
how many times do we have to watch Garcelle try to pretend she cares about wallpaper at her beach house in Ventura County or whatever?
I know,
like that's
exactly.
going to be the season. You know what I mean? I think that she is doing it for Scandival because listen, Scandival is a Lisa Vanderpump show. That is Kyle's greatest nemesis in life. It's always who she's competing with the most. That show got it. And, oh, gee, what a coincidence. Right after shooting, all this stuff drops in the media. And then Kyle's show has to go back into doing more filming because their season's fucking lame and boring. Yeah, they picked up the cameras again. I mean, it's the same exact thing. So, yes, I do think Kyle is doing this for... and then she goes walking like where the paparazzi is or calls the paparazzi with Morgan, like covering her face and showing her wedding ring. Like, okay, Kyle, like I don't buy Kyle's bullshit for 2 damn seconds. I don't believe that Kyle would be interesting enough to be dating Morgan Wade. I just don't believe it. Okay.
Also, who's Morgan Wade? Who is Morgan Wade, right?
I saw a video of her. She's like, I'm a country singer and stuff like that. And they're like, hey, Morgan, what do you think about fishing? She's like, I love it. What do you think about it? Who doesn't love fishing? You know, she's just that kind of personality. And I guess,
of course, she loves fishing. Her last name's Wade. But
just like fly fishing. She just wants to do fly fishing.
That's all. Only fly fishing. Yeah, you know, the other thing is that like Kyle is way too involved in her own scandal because I have not been paying. So when it all broke, I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. It broke while I was playing my super nerdy game of Twilight Imperium, which was my 12-hour game of Space Conquest that I was playing with fellow nerds on July 3rd. Like my entire table was covered with like spaceships and planets. It was like full nerddom. And I was like, guys, Kyle Richards is leaving Mauricio. I had to like stop the Space Conquest to pivot into Bravo Land. And that was
want
like
to talk about a table where nobody's getting laid with anybody else.
Yeah, see, that's all Kyle needed to do. She just needed to sit and play that game, and she could have stayed faithful to Mauricio. But yeah, so I had to make a hard pivot. But like honestly, on the week of vacation, I really was truly on vacation where I was, you know, I saw that this scandal was happening and I kept tabs on it, but I just really didn't want to take on any extra Bravo into my life that week. So I didn't really look too carefully. But what I did see, but I still followed it. And really my big takeaway is that every time someone posted something on Instagram, Kyle Richards would comment on it. And she continues to comment on it. And I think that like that's where I'm feeling this is kind of ridiculous. Not ridiculous, like this might be manufactured because you saw when there was like a real scandal with Scandival, like a real earth-shattering scandal. Like Ariana was pretty much, she went like radio silent. Everyone went radio silent. You know, even Raquel until she was videotaped in front of a nail salon or something. And everyone handles drama and trauma and scandal differently. But Kyle is like all up it, like commenting on like everyone's Instagram
making
posts.
sure that she's literally like if really you don't want to be seen, so you're walking on Rodeo Drive with Morgan while flashing your wedding. Come on, Kyle. Like I just don't fucking buy it. She's so bad at this. You know, she's so bad at it. And you know, the trolls are she came out with this post, I think it was yesterday, that's like, hey everybody who wants to talk about me so much, talk about this. And then she
like,
gives two flipping off emojis. Fuck off, Kyle. And then there's like a big group of people who's online like, oh, so we're cool with outing people now, guys? Is that what we're doing? First of all, of course it's not cool to out people, quote I say with quote unquote. Of course that's not cool in general. I don't know that that's necessarily what's happening because it seems like we're kind of being led down a path to believe this in the first place. Bravo viewers are not the brightest people, and I speak as one. We will believe whatever they tell us. We are trained by this channel to believe anything. And the only reason people are led to this conclusion is because they have led us to this conclusion through many Instagram posts and not having Mauricio on there or having all these posts where she normally is like, oh my God, Mauricio's like the best, whatever, and then leaving him out of those posts and saying, well, you're a good dad, heart, instead of her. She's doing it on purpose, is what I'm saying. And then the outing thing, I don't even want to hear anybody coming at us about outing or really anybody else, because the worst person about outing on this show is Kyle fucking Richards. And I will never forget what she did to Denise Richards with the whole Brandy Glanville thing and bringing Brandy back on the show to bring Denise down. That was outing. So fuck that argument, okay? And Kyle loves everybody else's drama, rolls around in it when it's everybody else. And the second it's her, she starts crying and putting flip-off emojis everywhere online.
Yes,
grow a pair, Kyle, okay? You're the one who tries to bring everybody down every season, and nothing is off limits for you. So guess what? Your turn. But at the same time, I think it's fake. So you're making your own turn. So damn it, I'm talking myself into a...
Get out of that rotary.
It's a disaster.
Listen, I will say some evidence in favor of it not being manufactured is that there were like strange behaviors on Instagram going back like a year ago, right? Like where she didn't acknowledge Mauricio on like a Mother's Day post or something.
Father's Day, Mother's Day, one of those. Yeah.
One of those, like he was not acknowledged, and that was like a year ago. And there was a few weird discrepancies with Mauricio going back a long time. So I don't think Kyle plays a long game like that. So that is odd and that is strange. But maybe what there's a world where both can exist. Like there are problems and who knows what's going on behind closed doors. And like maybe whereas Kyle may have been reticent to really put it out there because she spent so much energy over the past 4 or 5 years talking about how long she and Mauricio have been married and how they're the only ones who are married, and like here's a box from the not.com. And then when she sees the success of Scandival, she suddenly says, oh, you know what, maybe I intentionally put this out there, our actual problems, and see what frenzy I can whip up.
Yeah, I think that my official guess is that there are problems. Maurizio probably is in some kind of cheating scandal, but to keep it under wraps, Kyle is letting this thing go because Kyle doesn't care if people think she's with somebody famous. Kyle loves being, connected to famous people. Like, say Jamie Lee Curtis one more time. So I'm sure Kyle is walking around loving the fact that people think that she's banging Morgan Wade, but there probably is some sadness there. Now, I would like to stand for the only person who I believe is truly getting cheated on here, even though I just said I believe Kyle probably is getting cheated on, but I don't think that's anything new. I think she's always being cheated on. But here is who I think is really being cheated on. The real victim in all this, nobody has said it yet, I don't think. Teddi is the one who's being cheated on here because Kyle did what Kyle does. She ran out and found a new little bestie. And Teddi is still apparently not saying anything on her show because, of course, the only time I read this comment, I thought it was funny. The only time anybody wants to hear what Teddi has to say, she has nothing to say, of course. But she didn't say anything she won't say anything on her show about it. But I actually kind of felt for Teddi because I was like, that's Teddi's best friend. And I think that Teddi's the one who's getting cheated on here.
And like that could have been Teddi in a potential lesbian affair with Kyle, and it's not. That's sad too. That Teddi was passed over. I'm trying to look up the thing that you mentioned before, where Kyle was like, "You look into this, the middle fingers." It was on like a photo of Kyle in like a hat. Of course, it was like, was it her with her whole family? Was it her with Mauricio? Because now she's posting like a million photos with like Mauricio now, right? Which is. It's kind of like this. Oh, here it is. Yeah. I don't know if anyone can see it on my screen.
Maybe it went too far, Okay, so she's posted her whole family in hats. This is the one with the flip-offs, right?
Yeah, this is the one with the flip-offs. And all her families are in hats. And I just think for that alone, there should be just like a termination of this marriage because this is just too many hats.
Well, it's also proof that somebody's cheating, I think, because all the girls got together and were like, we're all wearing terrible, stupid hats that
except
are
for Portia.
Cowboy
Portia had
appropriation.
Some common sense.
Well, Portia's probably like, fuck you, Dad, I'm not standing up for you or whatever, but they're all going to wear cowboy hats in solidarity now. Come on, someone's cheating.
Now, there was something else I was going to say about this. Oh, so the other thing is that, leading up to this, another thing that gives some credence to this, leading up to this, Kyle and Kathy made amends. And in fact, Kathy had an Instagram live, which I did watch, even though it was on vacation, quote unquote, where Kathy was just like, she was like, my favorite steak restaurant in Los Angeles is Lowry's Prime Rib. She was just like yammering on. But apparently Kyle and Kathy have made up, and I can see them making up if the common factor in all their drama, Mauricio, is out of the picture. So that also lends credence to the fact that this may be an authentic breakup.
Say that headline again.
Kathy and Kyle have reconnected. They're good again because there was a wedding. By the way, this all seemed to center around the fact that one of Kim's daughters got married in Aspen at the end of June.
Yeah, and they let Kyle come.
Yeah, they let Kyle come, but I feel like, but now they're down with Kyle again, and I feel like they would only be down with Kyle again if Mauricio was out of the picture.
Right, where Kyle probably had that moment with Kathy where she's like, I'm sorry for what we did with the agency. I will say this, no matter what happened with Kyle, good for Kyle because Kyle's no idiot, and I read that she is half owner of the agency. And
is
probably
she?
Not half, but I think that she owns a portion of the agency, which is very, very smart, Kyle.
Well,
very smart.
Yeah, but you know what? what I heard also is that Mauricio owns half of Kyle by Aileen too. So really, no one's getting away with all the money.
You know, it's like it's a wash. It's a wash, basically.
It's a wash.
My guess is they won't get divorced. Nothing will come of this. I think this is a desperate ploy for ratings. I don't see a world with them getting a divorce. But, you know, stranger things have happened. The news today is that they just took out a mortgage on their home for like $5-something million. They or took a loan on their mortgage or whatever. I don't know what that means. Really, I'm not rich enough to understand that. Yeah. Right. Or they're going to buy Pump because Pump just closed. Lisa,
now that would be. Pump. By the way, that would be the sort of power move that would like make Kyle's stock go way up with me. I was like, now that is what you. That's how
revenge.
You be petty. That is how you are petty.
Right.
Buy
that's
Pump.
Revenge.
Yeah, and just turn it into Kyle by Shahida by Aileen too, and just put it right there in the corner, in the middle of Lisa's universe.
Right. So that was basically the big catch up with Kyle Richards. No one really knows what's going on. Kyle is really playing it for all it's worth to get attention on Instagram. I'm not buying shit. I am worried about this coming up season of Beverly Hills. And I'm also worried because everybody's going to say, this is what you get for firing Rinna, which I don't think is the case. I think this is what you get for not hiring more interesting people. Okay. Rinna should not have to tap dance and make up storylines for everybody because nobody has anything going on. You know what I mean?
You're right. She shouldn't have to tap dance. And this is what you get for keeping an emphasis on glamour and glam squads. I'm sorry. I think that is
It'll always come back to the glam squads.
It always comes back to the glam squads. And I think we have to maybe excise the people who were the biggest glam squad people.
Well, it is fun kind of watching Erica have to bargain Bennett, though. Also, Erica, I'm glad they didn't fire Erica because I want to see this Rush Limbaugh twin that she's dating, the billionaire who owns the casinos in Vegas that got her that gig at House of Blues or whatever. The Erica Experience. Burger and a pretty mess.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
Introducing the new Audible original Breakthrough.
The genre-redefining audio-only series that strips away the superficial to reaffirm what matters most. Pure talent.
Featuring celebrity judges Kelly Rowland, Sarah Bareilles, and host David Diggs.
Hear every step of the musical journey as 5 undiscovered musicians battle through a series of high-stakes singing and songwriting challenges for one top spot.
As musically gifted as they are artistically unique, each finalist is driven by the same dream, to become music's next must-listen.
But to break through, they'll have to dig deep, pushing their vocal, songwriting, and recording chops to their absolute limits while keeping their feet and emotions firmly grounded.
So, who will break through? It's time to find out.
Join Kelly, Sarah, and David on a musical journey unlike anything you've ever seen.
This is Breakthrough.
Listen on Audible or wherever you get your podcasts.
Go to audible.com/breakthrough.
Follow along using #BreakthroughXAudible.
If you're hiring, you know what it's like to deal with economic uncertainty. And now more than ever, it's really important to hire the right people faster and more efficiently because you got to keep the overall cost down. And thankfully, there's a hiring partner who's focused on you and your needs, and that is ZipRecruiter.
From pricing to technology, everything that ZipRecruiter does is for you and what works best for you.
And right now, you can try them free at ZipRecruiter.com/crappins.
Now, here's how ZipRecruiter prioritizes your needs. They've got very straightforward pricing, like no surprises, no twists and turns.
ZipRecruiter's smart technology identifies the best matches for your job. Hire the best with the help of a partner who's all about you, ZipRecruiter.
4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Just go to this exclusive web address to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/crappins.
Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/crappens.
ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Now, while we're wrapping up the gossip session, like the talking about catch-up session, I do have something that we have to correct. I'm surprised. The fact that we haven't been clocked on it more really speaks to like how little people are watching this show. It seems like we spent like a good portion of
I don't know what you're going to say.
of our Real Housewives of Atlanta recap making fun of Roy's business, and we kept on calling it Call Me Kale, and we're like, what a stupid name, Call Me Kale. There's not even a pun there. Well, guess what? It's not called Call Me Kale. It's called Kale Me Crazy. which
you
is
know
more
what,
of a pun.
what else we need to take responsibility for? That being your fault.
That's my
'Cause
fault.
That is your fault. And I'm a stupid person. So I will just go with whatever you tell me. And you're like, it's called Call Me Kale. That doesn't even. And I'm like, it is called Call Me Kale.
It was our
I'm
first
going
show
with
back.
Ben down this.
It was our first show back from vacation, but it's funny that none of us decided like that doesn't even make sense. Let's just not. That's like the time we talked about apple socks and people like lost their mind at us. So anyway, it's
What
called
was
Kale
that,
Me
though?
Crazy.
Apple socks. What was the real thing?
Maybe it was like a brand called Apple Socks. I don't even remember what the apple
Yeah, I
socks
don't
were.
either.
But the
But yeah, we're
brand
stupid.
is Kale Me Crazy. But by the way, I still stand by everything we said. And I still
About
think Oh
Roy
My
and a
Crab.
stupid place. And also, Kill Me Crazy is a stupid name, too.
It's a stupid name. And
I'll
by the
stand
way,
by
I
that.
still choose Oh My Crab over Kale Me Crazy. And people, please go to the Oh My Crab and keep it in business. And by Oh My Crab, I mean My Crab House, because that's what it turned into. Please go to it. Can we do a fundraiser? And by fundraiser, I mean people just go to this restaurant because I really like it and I'm afraid it's going to close. So everyone go to My Crab House on Melrose and Vine. Thank you.
Well, I also really like my name, Kill Me By Your Name, where you can only go eat kale salads with like Twinks.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's a
I like-
niche for that.
Yeah, you know what?
Niche market.
Yeah, you know,
A disgusting
The
one,
direct-
but
the director of Usual Suspects would love that. Whatever his name is.
that's
I forgot.
terrible. Oh,
That's
Muriel.
terrible.
I
What's
never
his
even
name
saw
again?
that movie. That movie's
What? But you know how it ends, unfortunately, right?
No, I don't know how it ends. I just know what it's about, and I'm like, gross. Why would I?
Oh,
wanna
you should
that?
watch it. If you've made it like 30 years without getting spoiled, because now that we
No,
mention it, everyone's
Kill,
gonna-
Kill Me By Your Name.
Oh.
Usual Suspects I've seen, of course.
I have not seen Call Me By Your Name either. I want to see it. But I
No,
also
it sounds
hear
gross.
that Kaiser Soze's in that. Yeah.
It's based on Kaiser Sose. Okay, so let's
His
get
origin
into the
story.
recap. Something else we missed last week while we were away. The only show that was new on Bravo was Real Housewives of Orange County. Now, it's rare that we watch a Housewives show and don't take notes on it for this show, but last week the pronouncement was made. We are not taking notes on the show no matter what. We're not
matter
going to
what.
fucking do it.
Yeah.
So I watched it. Oh, also I watched all of Project Runway, which, by the way, fucking love Project Runway. What a great season. They got so many crazies back to do the show. I mean, they're literally fighting between the Christian Siriano people and the Tim Gunn people. Like, the OGs are starting to resent the newer people. Hester Prynne is like even crazier than ever. Not Hester Prynne. Sorry. They're bringing
Wow.
in literary stars this time, guys.
She's like, when will people loosen up?
The Scarlet A Challenge.
Yeah, I have to catch up on it. I did watch an episode 2 weeks ago. I watched the one that was like about gowns, like royalty gowns, and it was really amazing. So I am gonna catch up
Very
on all
good.
that.
But the point is, Real Housewives of Orange County.
And by the way, I also want to say thank you because I said, by the way, everyone, we're not gonna we're not gonna recap it. So like, don't even bother messaging us and being like, are you gonna recap? Are you gonna recap it? Honestly, no one did. Everyone totally respected that. So thank you, everyone. I really appreciated that.
Yes. And like, even when one person did ask, someone was like, shut up, stupid. They said they weren't going to do it. You fucking asked. Here, of course, somebody is asking. And they're like, geez, sorry, you know? So that was pretty funny. Okay, so let's get into it. So Big Trouble in Something Something is what this episode's called. It's from season 17, episode 6. They're in Montana. What I was going to say is we did not take notes for last week, so I actually got to watch the episode like, you know, I normally would watch it if we didn't do this show, which is not stopping every 2 seconds to write something stupid down. Let me tell you, what a fun fucking cartoon of a ridiculous show this is. It's so stupid. It's so funny.
The show's in a great place right now.
I don't know why it's working now, because it's technically still really stupid and nothing's happening and everything's just made up. I don't know why sometimes that's okay for viewers
chemistry.
and sometimes it's not, but right now it's okay. I mean, it's very, very funny.
Yeah, cast chemistry is an X factor on every show, and the cast chemistry here is like it's like shockingly strong to the point where this episode I found myself laughing just at stuff, and like that reminds me of like classic Roni. And I'm not saying this is classic Roni, but sometimes like on a classic Roni episode nothing would happen, but it was so deeply entertaining because the woman would be just the things that would come out of their mouth, you know, and the things that they would do just cracked me up. And so I was finding myself giggling here, and I'm finding that Jenn is working out pretty well so far as a new cast member. At first, I thought she'd be just kind of like a generic piece of plastic, and she is a generic piece of plastic. But she's like serving her role, she's like the plastic role, doing that really well. And I'm enjoying how she sort of has this like cold, emotionless response to things that I'm kind of enjoying. So like she's sort of like negative space, right? Like, you know, in photography you need negative space, and she's like our negative space in a way that's good.
Actually, I have to say, I don't think she's. I mean, I think she does look plastic. You know, she's from Orange County. They all look plastic, but I think that it's like, have you ever seen those videos where like, oh my God, you guys, pollution, the seas are rising, the world's about to end, and then they'll show like all the plastic that they pull out of the ocean, and you're like, that is disgusting. I can't believe human beings have done this to the ocean, and it's just like Diet Coke bottles, and it's like dead dolphins, and you're like, this is the saddest thing, and you're like about to cry, and you're like, we just ruined the world for the next generation. But then that little part of you goes, but that Diet Coke was really good.
Yeah.
That was a really good Diet Coke. Like, it was kind of worth it in a way. And that's kind of how I feel with Jenn. I'm like, she is plastic, and she is not gonna just decompose well. She is gonna litter the earth.
She'll be with us with this planet for a while. She
gave us something too. She also gave us something. Plastics make it possible. So also, I think that part of the reason she seems kind of cold or like disinterested almost in Tamra's constant accusations is that she knows Tamra.
Yeah.
And I think that is a part of the magic that we've been missing. When they bring on these people that nobody really knows, they brought on somebody that Tamra actually does know. And I think Tamra probably pitched it as, listen, I know this lady. I'm actual friends with her. I will ruin this bitch on TV. Just give her to me.
I have no problem destroying this friendship for TV. And it is sort of like a good counterbalance because Tamra is over the top and ridiculous, and she's so calculated and obvious. She's like really one of the most blatant plotters on TV. She's so not smooth. But then you have Jenn, who's kind of like emotionless and reserved, and it sort of like works in a really good way. So I think it's going well. I've really enjoyed it. So the big thing for last week was that Gina is still constantly triggered by Jenna because Jenn cheated, and she left the guy for Ryan, and Gina's on a whole thing of like, I'm sorry, I can't do that. It's like, it's a trigger for me. I can't do it. And it like all culminated with Gina climbing into like a bulldozer or a tractor or something and like sobbing, and then Heather went up and joined her in the seat, and Heather was like, to show that I really care, I'm gonna scrunch up my face in ways I've never scrunched it before. So she like crinkles her chin up to her nose, and she's like, you cannot call Trevor about this. You absolutely cannot. You're on a very limited data plan. Do not waste those minutes.
Well, there's a couple things also. We found that Heather is starting to get upset because Shannon and Tamra have just decided they're best friends again.
Yeah.
Like after all of that, they are now literally rolling around on the ground together. And I do think Tamra is purposely pushing Heather's buttons about all of this and trying to hurt Heather's feelings about it. And Heather falls right into it. And I think that's another thing that is working really well with the season in general is that Heather is not a star. And when they tried to bring Heather back last year and make it the Heather show, by the way, we loved last season. I think both of us loved it as well. But making it the Heather show, Heather's not a star. She's not meant to carry a show. It's not meant to be built around Heather. This is a trigger Heather show because it's funny to watch someone who thinks that they have all these manners, and then you watch them and they're actual trash, just like everybody else. And that's kind of what's fun about it. And so I'm loving watching them trigger Heather, and she is falling right for it, and Tamra's totally doing it on purpose. And
also, by the way, it's a storyline about
take 1 week off and fucking look at us. I'm like, and also.
Oh, I love it because you know what? We have the most beautiful backdrops we've ever had on Crappens on Demand behind us. I'm like, look how beautiful this is. But but also like this also goes to show how much more compelling it is to watch a storyline about friendship dynamics. I think because that's like a very real, relatable thing, and like watching a group change dynamics when someone comes back into it or people make up, et cetera, et cetera. That's always going to be more interesting than glam squads. Not that this show
Yes.
has a glam squad issue. It has this is the literal opposite. It's like Tamra curling Shannon's hair. But some of the issues we've seen on Atlanta, where Atlanta doesn't feel very cohesive. Like there's like a different. We can sort of see the difference of like trying to scrape for drama versus like authentic drama that comes from actual relationships people have with each other on the show, not stuff that happens on Twitter, not stuff that happens, at a restaurant where someone was shot.
Right. So some of this stuff from last week was just cracking me up. Like Gina has this sit down with Jenn, talking about how it's so hard for her knowing Jenn because Jenn cheated and Gina's triggered. And Joe Gunn on Twitter, who we love, obviously.
Love Joe Gunn.
We love him.
You shall follow him.
He quoted this on Twitter. I'm on his Twitter now just to read this quote back perfectly. But Gina told her, actually, I'm really happy that we ended up bunking together because for me, I got to know you beyond the infidelity. Gina, whose fucking business is it of yours? What a stupid fucking quote from somebody. Could you imagine? Like, that is my business if I cheat on somebody else. It has nothing to do with you. Also, isn't Travis still married? I don't think. Now, I know that's different when you're separated, okay? And I'm not saying it's the same thing as cheating on your husband, but you're also just throwing a lot. And also, didn't Tamra date Eddie? Wasn't Tamra dating Eddie before she got divorced from Simon? And I know Simon's evil and everything, and I'm not going to take that away from the girl. But why are these morals so important just for the new girl?
Well, also,
Gina.
fuck Gina for making us somehow take the stand of the cheater after we spent like 3 or 4 months like righteously crusading against Tom Sandoval, and now we're like, leave Jen alone.
But
Fuck
true,
Kyle Richards,
Gina.
leave Jen alone. But it's all about perspective.
So then we get another Tamra storyline that she was bringing in last week, which is, because she can't get Jenn. She's trying to get Jenn. She's trying to trigger Jenn. She's turning on Jenn in front of all the other ladies. And it's working with Gina. Gina's anti-Jenn. But everyone else is like, who cares? People cheat. Like, we're in Orange County. Literally nobody cares. So Tamra wasn't happy with that. So she upped her game. And now she's telling everyone, well, I heard from another friend of mine that Ryan walked into my gym. He saw me. And he said, I'm going to fuck her. First of all,
Nice
what?
self-serving story you got going on there. She's like, I heard that like Ryan walked into my gym and said, she's so fucking hot. I want to fucking bone her by the end of the summer because she's so incredibly hot.
Are you sure he wasn't talking to a fanning Stan or like something with very sharp blades that would rip off his like anything? I could see him talking like, did he see a water ball? Maybe he was pointing, or a water bottle. Maybe he was pointing at.
Maybe he just wanted to fuck the uneven floors. I don't know. Like, it's his kink.
Was it
Floor
a literal
fucking.
barbell that he wanted to fuck? Because anything I could see choosing over him saying, I want to fuck her. Like, I just don't believe it, Tamra. I don't believe it. And then Shannon, because she tells, she tells
everyone but Jen.
Tamra and Heather. And so Shannon does her Home Alone face where she's like, what? My parents left me. They didn't even notice I wasn't on the plane with them.
What? There's robbers. They hang a paint bucket over the staircase and dangle it from the chandelier.
I hope I have some marbles to put in the hallway to make these robbers fall down.
Oh, I hope there's a strange old man in the neighborhood who turns out to be a very warm and charming person.
And Shannon tells us, does Jen know this? And if she doesn't, and she finds out, how is this going to destroy her? Because it would destroy me. It would destroy me.
So then Tamra tries to like create a scene with Jen. And so then they start squabbling at the campfire. And really the big takeaway from this is that while they're squabbling, there are these two ladies who are cooking dinner for them all. One of them has like a big bright red wig. She's just like, you know what? I don't know when I'm going to be on TV next, so I want to make a tribute to Winona Judd right now. So they make this whole thing of bison, and then they're just sitting there waiting for these women to stop fighting. And they just keep on snickering, like just not snickering, but they're just like, so we're going to serve food to that shit show over there yet? Nah, they're still fighting this deep bitches.
I know they
great.
keep making all these snide little comments about what idiots they're serving.
Yeah.
And so they're squabbling around the fire, and Shannon makes some weird argument in favor of Jen where she says, well, I just don't believe it. Because Jen's like, I did not fuck around on Ryan, right? And she goes, what happened was Ryan and I liked each other. We were having an emotional affair, but we weren't having sex. But then he called me and was like, hey, I got you a gift. And so I went to the parking lot and I met him and we got in his car and he gave me a gift, but then nothing else happened. So
That's when they were allegedly caught, right? Because Tamra's like,
Right,
My friend
'cause
caught
Tamra's
their
saying-
mother having sex in the car.
and he's just like, no, I was getting a gift.
I was literally in the car just picking up a gift, which I don't necessarily believe you, Jen. Okay, you
gift
cheated.
was a penis.
Like, give me a fucking break. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but Shannon is like, well, I believe Jen because she has 5 children, and why would you walk away from a marriage after meeting a guy a couple of times? I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. What? I guess.
Why would she do that?
But see, when she said that, I interpreted that as saying like, no, there was more to the story here because you don't just walk away after like a few dates, like after like a gift, like that there was more going on. But like
well,
maybe
I thought she was saying more was going on in the marriage, and that's why she left. And then she happened to get with Ryan,
either way.
but because
She was
she
implying that more
apologizes
was
in
going
this
on.
episode,
Right. She apologized about a comment. I was like, what did you say wrong? But yeah, you're clearly.
So who knows?
Either way,
You know.
she was implying that
Call
there
me
was
Cal.
more going on. Call me Cal.
Call me Cal. Is what
But
I've
Gina
gotta
didn't
say
want to
about
hear
it.
any of it.
Gina was
But-
like, yeah, but you don't throw away your marriage, five children, and an entire wall full of signs from Marshalls that your spouse will lovingly pick out. You don't just do that. You don't walk away from that.
Yeah, she goes, you've been caught getting gifts from a man. I'm sorry, but you did walk away from your marriage, and this is why I can't do this. I'm sorry, I can't do this. And like walks away. But Shannon's thing, she goes, but she has 5 children. Why would she walk away from a marriage after meeting a guy a couple of times? Have you guys met Bronwyn? I mean, what the fuck?
Or anyone on Bravo.
Or anybody on this show. How long have we been watching this show? It's like nobody on this show has seen the show. It's very not meta. You know what I mean? It's like the opposite of meta. So then Heather has
Have
her
you met
conversation
Bronwyn?
with Gina and the tractor, which is what Ben started with, which I completely derailed him trying
No,
to.
it was fine. No, I'm glad you did because honestly, I watched this episode. I watched it. I loved it. I laughed. I was like, ugh, this show is back on track. And I swear to God, I couldn't remember a single thing that happened. And so I was like, I just remember Gina sobbing in some sort of like industrial farm vehicle that like I felt like it was a scene from At Close Range. Just like I felt like Madonna should have started playing. She was like sobbing, like, oh my God. And Heather climbs into that and Heather's like, because you know Gina's like pulling out her like Metro PCS phone. She's like, I gotta call Travis. And Heather's like, no, put this away. I don't know what that is. Is that really a phone? Okay, I haven't seen a clamshell phone in many years. Do not call him because he should not be the one that you call about this. Because she's basically saying like, listen, you can't keep venting about your ex to your current man because you might poison that relationship. You might drive him away. You might whatever. Which I don't know if it's like, I think it's Heather doesn't know necessarily what the nature of their relationship is because as we find out later, Travis is totally down for it. But I don't think that she's necessarily totally wrong either. Like I think it's fair to say like if you keep yammering about your ex and your triggers about your ex and your past relationship, you might jeopardize your current relationship. I think that's a fair concern.
I do too, actually, and this is a very odd episode for me because I find myself on Heather's team a lot, which literally never happens. Like I don't think it's ever happened. I mean, someone could run over Heather in a crosswalk and I would be on the driver's team. Like it's weird. It's weird for me to be on Heather's team, but I am kind of on her team a little bit in a lot of this episode. This is the first thing. Now I understand it's explained later that Gina is kind of doing this because she has shared a trauma with Travis, and Matt is the trauma, and he is helping. We'll get to that when we get to it. That argument still, though, I think what people are seeing but nobody is saying is to her face yet is that she's obviously still got something for Mia. Is Matt her ex-husband? Mia is her ex-husband, right? I think she's still, even as traumatic or horrible as that guy was, I think now that he's kind of getting his shit together and being a good dad and doing all this stuff,
And he's still
it
super
seems
hot.
like she's not over Matt. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And now she's with Travis, and Travis just seems like convenient. He just seems like I don't know. You know, it's like we all get on those
cute.
stupid
They're nice.
electric scooters every once in a while, even though we know, like, we don't really want to, but we think it'll make, like, a fun TikTok, so we do it. Like, he just seems like that. He's like one of those scooters
fun-
outside a bar. You know,
Yeah.
they're like, I'll ride this until an actual Uber comes.
Right. And so I think at worst, Heather may have overstepped. But at best, she may have given some good advice. And I'm logging that right now because I have a lot of issues with Gina this episode.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
You know what I love about saving money is that when I save money, I can then spend that money on things I really want to spend money on, like nice food or board games.
Rakuten helps us to be a smarter shopper and save money on just about everything.
Rakuten is the smartest way to save money when you shop.
We have things we need to buy, whether it's home essentials or a self-care treat just for you.
Yeah, with Rakuten, we can get cash back on clothes, groceries, travel, and much more. In fact, there are over 4,200 stores across every single category on Rakuten.
Even better, you can stack cash back on top of other deals like store sales and credit card points.
In case you're wondering, the stores in Rakuten are ones that you know and love, and lots of cool ones waiting to be discovered. I mean, some of my personal favorites are Expedia, CVS.com, JCPenney, Instacart. I mean, it just goes on and on. Join the 17 million members who are already saving. It's free and easy to join Rakuten and start getting cash back. Start shopping at Rakuten.com now, or download the Rakuten app to start saving today. Your cash back really adds up. That's RAKUTEN.com. So Heather's like, Travis can't be that guy for you, okay? Now,
He's not
what
that
he can
man.
be, what he can be, he could be a waiter for me. Can I hire him for my house? Because we have a vacancy.
If he can bring water, he can be my kind of man. He can be an Alfredo. Okay. Now,
I would
are
like
you?
to rename him Alfredo.
Sometimes you need to ask yourself: are you a man, or are you an Alfredo? Now, I like when Heather does this thing where she's like, "I'm very serious. Look at how I'm pinching the very tip of my chin with two of my fingers,
And shoving my chin as far north as the plastic will possibly go.
very serious right now."
I'm so serious.
Gina's like,
I know I don't disagree, but it's just like this scenario. I just wanted to like get away. Like it's like she's talking about everything.
and Heather's like, "It's exhausting." I know. You know who else is exhausted? My chin, because it's being pinched. My chin is like, the tip of my chin has no blood coming to it. I hope everybody gets it. I'm very concerned right now.
Do you know what it feels like to have your chin fall asleep? Because I'm experiencing that. So Gina's like,
It's just like hard for me to look at. Like, it's like hard. It's like hard for me to look at from like any view. I just like don't want to look at it.
she's talking about infidelity, and Gina tells us,
It's so hard to leave a marriage, and like everything that happened between Matt and I was like a bad dream. And it's like a testament to who Travis is, that he can tolerate all these things that are going on between my ex and my kids. It's why I love him so much.
I'm like, well, you're assuming he's tolerating it, right? Like, that's the assumption, right? Because I'm not sure Gina is such a great read on what's going on with men based off of the lead up to everything with Matt.
Well, we find out later, like, he is really tolerating it and stuff. But I think, I don't know. Gina just seems really still hung up on that ex. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I really think.
It would
I don't
not
have any
shock
more to
me
say.
though if Gina is saying like, oh, he's like he's like really tolerated. He can tolerate all these things, but she's actually never checked in on him until this episode, until Heather actually said something, and then it turns out he has. But like, I wouldn't be surprised if she's just like saying it based on what she feels about him.
Well, not to get too depressing either, but this is also kind of abuse language that I don't like. It makes me uncomfortable. She's talking like, you know, this is a guy, he's tolerating me and he's tolerating my problems, and I'm lucky to have somebody like that. And it's like, no, you know, I don't want you to feel like that. It's not, and as he says later, it's not I don't really like Gina, but I don't like that. I want Gina to like Gina. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's important that she likes Gina. She's worthy of being liked by herself, even though I don't love her on the show. And I don't think, you know, it's not tolerating you. Someone who loves you and you have feelings, they're supposed to be there and listen to you and love you through that. And so
Yeah.
I don't like listening to that. And I think that's the language of somebody who has been in an abusive relationship, just feeling like she's lucky to have somebody who will accept her for the way she is, which, no, you're fucking gorgeous. I don't know that you're smart, but you're like gorgeous. You're really nice. You seem to be a really good mom. You've mixed different names to come up together with a makeup brand. I mean, you've got a lot of positive things going for you. And I don't want you to settle just because you think like, well, this is all I deserve, you know?
Right. So Heather goes, okay, take a moment to realize that because this is so much for you. You haven't really dealt with it. Okay. You're pouring this all onto a simple man who just wants to watch Wheel of Fortune at the end of the night. Okay, have you thought about therapy? And Gina's like,
No, I don't want to acknowledge the fact that I'm still struggling with this because, I like to pretend like I did because, it just feels safe.
so she basically is saying, she never dealt or processed or went to therapy about everything that happened with Matt.
And she's like, there's still definitely days and circumstances where things come up. Like recently, I attended a wedding in a church. Like, I got married in a church. Okay. And the preacher said, you swear to love. And then me and Matt had a sign that said, live, laugh, love, And then recently I saw a traffic cone. So I dressed like a traffic cone. And I'm like, wait, that part wasn't about me being sad, but I am dressed like a traffic cone right now. So like it? It's a bright orange dress with the bright orange eyeshadow. I was like, are you trying to make sure traffic doesn't go over that recently unfilled pothole? Like, what the fuck are you wearing, Gina?
And you know what? You know what's really crazy? The other day I drove by a Bed Bath & Beyond, and Matt and I, we both had a bed, we both had a bath, and we both ate Beyond Meat once.
And Heather's like, you are allowed to have feelings, which is what I'm going to tell my chin after I stop pinching it very And Gina's like, but I keep stuffing them down. She's like, it's like I tell Terry all the time, stop stuffing. No one likes a moose knuckle, Terry. Not literally, figuratively, or in your case, emotionally.
Okay. So they hug, and you go,
Sorry, I smell like fish.
oh, don't worry about it. So then Tamra back at the camp, she's like, everyone go put on pajamas, bitch. And so they all have these matching red pajamas, and they're going to be split up into tents and everything. And Shannon asked Tamra how her conversation with Jenn went about, confronting Jenn about what Ryan said to Tamra about Tamra. And she says,
now, did you say that he had a reputation for, I don't even want to finish the sentence because it doesn't even need to be finished. And Tamra goes, yes, I'm really open and honest with her. And I exposed something that's been bothering me for a while, bitch.
10 minutes earlier, Tamra's like,
the fact that he walked into my gym and pointed at me and said, I'm gonna fuck her, and he knew I was smelling, okay? That to me.
And then Jenn going, that's hard for me, Tamra. She's like,
that's hard for me. You know what else is hard for me? Ryan's hard for me. He's hard for me.
So Tamra says, by the way, she's not the only married woman he fucked in the gym.
Jesus Christ, Tamra, doesn't this violate HIPAA or gym code of some kind? It doesn't Planet Fitness have some kind of HIPAA that people follow? What kind of business owner is this?
Yeah.
Walking around telling everybody the gossip that happens in her gym. I mean, what the fuck? A gym by nature is kind of a bordello. And there is, don't ask, don't tell. No wonder your fucking gym is down. I wouldn't go there. You shouldn't be allowed to own any. She probably calls people schools like, I just want you to know that Toby's mother orders marijuana from me. So it's called CPS. It's like, what the fuck kind of person is this? Terrible business owner.
Yeah, exactly. So then Tamra explains it to us. She says,
if I didn't care about her, I wouldn't have even said anything, but I do care about her, and I care about her family, which is why I've decided to destroy her reputation on national television.
Which is why I'm going to ruin her entire family right now on television and try and give her husband evidence to get them kids taken away and everything else. Tamra, you are a horrible human being.
Great work.
And I'm kind of enjoying you. You're doing a great job. Yeah.
Great job. So, yeah, she's like,
no stand-up guy goes after a married woman.
I'm assuming she means gentlemen, not stand-up comedians, because I feel like comedians would do that.
No stand-up does that.
I think that Eddie did that, actually. Pretty sure that you were with Simon when you met Eddie. I'm gonna stick with that. I'm not really sure. You guys can correct me in the comments if I'm incorrect, but from my memory, I'm pretty sure that's what happened back in the day. So then, also, what was the other thing? No stand-up man goes for a married woman. I also agree with that, by the way. And what Tamra is saying here, see, I'm switching all over the place. Tamra says, I might look like a bad guy in the end. By the way, you are a bad guy. And your Gucci hat is obviously fake. Please take it off. But she's like, I may look like the bad guy in the end, but she's the one that's going to suffer. And you're right. She is with a cheater. And I do not believe that men like this change. And she's going to learn her lesson. But let her.
But she's also going to suffer because she's hanging out with the bad guy, which is not just Ryan, it's also Tamra. So then Heather comes over. She goes, "Hello, this is Television's Heather Dubrow, and I want to show everyone that I am fun and carefree. Would anyone like to smoke a marijuana joint? Anyone? Would anyone like to get stoned? Would anyone like to get wavy gravy? Would anyone like to be like, wow, grass? Let's smoke some grass, everyone."
Would anyone like to hang out with my good friends, Chooch and Ching? Let us puff, give it to me, sister.
Yeah, when Heather starts passing around joints, it's time to go back to heroin. I'm done with weed. I'm fucking done with it. I've been kind of done with it for a while, but yeah, when the Heathers of the world are like, "Oh my God, marijuana, you guys," I'm done with it. I'm just going back to hard drugs. Bye.
She's just so awkward in her attempt to seem so carefree. She's like, I will get stoned now, like the youth of America. So now they're all eating their bison.
Oh no, there's some things that people took offense to, Ben. I can't just let you just
really
gallop off through the valley of Montana. So Tamra goes, "Well, that hurt my lungs if I had some marijuana." So, don't you sell marijuana products, Tamra? Isn't that your business? But she's like, "Well, that hurt my lungs." And Heather goes, "What are you, her?" Pointing at Shannon. And Shannon goes, "Well, what does that mean? What are you, her? Me?" And Heather goes, "Meaning you have a lung issue, Shannon. I'm not coming for you." She's like, "Oh, well, I didn't really appreciate her calling me her like that. I mean, who says that to me in that tone? Her."
I didn't think that my lungs were fair game for comedy, but I guess if maybe we'll just go after people who have cystic fibrosis next.
So now they're eating dinner and everything, and Shannon's like,
"Oh, Gina, by the way, I hope you didn't get upset about what I said before because, I don't even want to hear what your answer is. I just want to put that out there so I can say that I apologized." And Gina goes, "You know what? Like sometimes I don't understand your perspective, but it's more like I was upset by it. It's not like I was upset by it or like think it was a problem. It's just like you were like not the reason I got upset before."
And she's like,
"Yeah, it's really hard to get yourself to a place where you can just 100% let the past go, especially when that person is still a part of your life."
And Heather's like,
"Oh, by the way, who liked my joint? Who liked it? Who's feeling high? Who got high from my joint marijuana?"
I want to make sure that we don't move on too quickly from the fact that I did offer a doobie to these women and that I am young and I am fun. And the first time I smoked marijuana was when Paul Sorvino gave me a doobie on the set of That's Life on CBS Friday nights.
And Tamara's like,
"Suddenly, I'm very stunned."
and so Heather's like,
Doobie, this is Doobie laughter.
she's just
I'm
really
fun stoned. She literally goes, "I'm fun when I'm stoned, aren't I? Do you need a brownie? Look at me being a fun stoned person on marijuana."
Heather tries so hard to just come off as this fabulous, like rich but also normal, like good mom kind of a person. She just fails on all attempts. She's
so
just
hilarious.
such a robotic monster of a human being. Like none of this comes off. Last week she's like,
"You want me to shovel shit? Does Chanel make a shovel?"
does Chanel make... It's just it's so try hard.
But I love it though, because I love how she tries so hard, but then her true nature comes through, like with the IMDb fight. Like that's the true Heather, But when she's trying to be like fabulous, like I'm just the fabulous Heather who needs a Chanel shovel, but she's a monster. So, but
this one is Tamra going,
"Oh, you guys, you want to go sleep in this tent? We can sleep 2 by 2, and I'm only going to sleep with Shannon because she's only my best friend here. So that's my only best friend."
and Heather's like,
"Sleep in a tent? Why would we do that? Is there no 4 seasons, Montana? Doobie-doo!"
Okay, so Shannon and I are going to sleep in this tent. You'll know it's our tent because it says no Heathers allowed. Okay, good night, everyone.
So they actually go back to the places that they're staying and don't stay in the tents. And the lady's like, "Thank God those bitches don't even appreciate bison. Fuck them."
Yeah, seriously. Shannon's like,
I mean, she wanted us to sleep in a tent instead of a 9,500 square foot villa. No. 30 to 40 negative thoughts about that idea.
Yeah. And Heather's like, let us smoke a joint. And so then we get high cam, which is not what being high is like at all, actually, for anybody who gets high out there. I'm always offended. I'm like, someone at Bravo has to get high. I mean, why is the high cam always like, everything's moving slowly and I have no idea what it is. This is what being high is like. I've got the best idea for a sitcom. A lady who's kind of like trailer park and lives in like a bad house and is a real smart ass with her children. I'm going to call it Roseanne. Oh my God, I think the police are here.
This is my version of being high. You know, what's so funny is the other day I went to the supermarket. You get a lot of like beginnings of sentences with me, and then they end in my head. Not unlike the podcast.
I have so many notebooks full of like when I would get high and write down ideas.
Oh yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
do
like
that
take
too.
over the world. And one of them was I'm gonna have like a journal. Like if I'm writing a journal, like just talking about what I did that day, but it's gonna be like a podcast. It's gonna be like a video, but like a blog. And then I woke up and read it. I was like, a vlog? You fucking moron. Who is this person? I hate you. I hate this person.
Well, thankfully, this segment of them being high was like only like 3 seconds because I was afraid it was going to be like a 5-minute thing where they were just going to like fill up time of them getting stoned. But it was just like Heather laughing, like, look at me smoking grass and having fun. Afro Man is my landscaper now. I hired him. He's in my jail. My employee quarters. So now it's the morning and everyone's waking up and Heather goes into Tamra's room to check in on her. She's like, hello there. Are you okay? Are you hungover from smoking so much marijuana with me, television's Heather DeBro?
And she does. She goes into the room and then she Shannon is splayed on her bed. So she sees Shannon, but she ignores Shannon and goes right down into Tamra's face. So Tamra's like the first thing she sees in the morning. She's like, are you okay? And Shannon's like, what are you doing in here? God. And she's like, why are you here, Shannon? She goes, well, there was an animal in my room last night.
Till 5 in the morning. It was walking by my head. An animal was walking by my head.
It was a possum. Okay.
You got into bed with a possum. That's why you heard it.
You ran away from a squirrel to get in bed with a possum. So then Jenn calls Ryan, and now we see that she really is affected by this stuff, you know, and she's just learned to fake it in front of Tamra, not let Tamra show that she's hurt. But she's crying, and she's crying a lot of base off, a lot of foundation sliding off that face.
Yeah.
And Ryan does not keep the phone covered up because last time he answered the phone when she called, he was in the dark and refused to turn on a light, which led people to speculate that he was probably cheating on her right at that very moment, which he probably was. Let's face it.
Yeah. But then again, I don't know if he would even answer. I think he would just...
I think he would. That's part of the fun of cheating.
Oh, really? It's just being like that. That's the thrill.
It's the thrill of getting caught, possibly. You know? Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's the whole sending your dick pic on accident to the whole phone book, which we learned he did last week as well. I mean, he would...
That's true.
Because if he was just naked in bed, he would have still answered that phone because he's one of those men on the Real Housewives who would want his John. He's like a Joe Gorga type who'd be like, yeah, it's my dick. Blur it out all you want to. I got to take a shower right now on camera. You know, he's one of those.
Do you think he was maybe pooping? Do you think he would be like, I don't know if I want Bravo to see me pooping? I don't want to give him excuses. He was cheating. So Jenn is, she's telling that, she's talking about, she's like, you know, I just want a day. I want a day where they're just not digging up bones, which is funny because that did happen during one of our yoga classes outdoors. It was very awkward. But anyway, last night was like a lot, you know. I feel like I'm sitting in a spot that feels super confusing with Tamra, and there's like so many things that feel so below the fucking belt. Like I just don't know. I'm like, it's Tamra. You've been friends with her for like 6 or 7 years by now. You should know exactly what's going on.
But also just her like double entendres that she doesn't even know she's dropping. She's like, oh my God, all they want to talk about are like digging up bones. I'm like, boning Ryan. And then she's like, and then like there's so many things that are below the belt when all of this is about what's below the belt. I just love all the little things she's doing, not even knowing it. And Ryan's like, honey, I know it seems unfair, but you should keep trying. And Jen's telling us she doesn't even want to tell Ryan right now because he's going to flip out when he hears that Tamra's claiming that he wanted to fuck her and he's going to lose his shit. So she wants to do this to his face and not on camera, which you do your job. Do it on camera.
Well,
right now, I want to see it. And then I want to see him yell at her on camera. You know, come on.
Yeah. She's like, you know what? This has me so stressed out. I'm just going to eat a cupcake right now. It's official. Today's a cheat day. It's a cheat day. What did I say? What did I say?
You know what? I just really want Ryan to like know, just like ever since I've met him, I just want him to know what's inside me. You know? It's really important.
As promised, that was part 1, and stick around. Part 2 is coming up here on the podcast feed. If you don't subscribe, this is a great time to subscribe on whatever platform you use. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you on part 2.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela.
Itchels.
Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas.
Hava Nagila Weber.
Jamie, she has no last namey.
Sipped some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
Kristen the Piston Anderson.
She's always supplying, it's Kelly Ryan.
Megan Berg, you can't have a burger without the Berg.
You're never alone with Lacey Monteleone.
Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino.
There ain't no problem that Sarah Salvia can't solve ya.
Ruru LaRue.
The Bay Area Betches.
And our super premium sponsors, the incredible edible Matthews sisters.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
She's not harsh. She's Jill Hirsch.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva. Erica, 500 Days of Summers.
She's the queen bee. It's Sarah Lemke. We love him madly. It's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender.
My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall.
Give him hell, Miss Noel.
Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
We want to hang with Liz Lang.
Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.
Hey Prime members, you can listen to Watch What Crappens ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app today. Or you can listen ad-free with Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts. Before you go, tell us about yourself by completing a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
Looking for love? I'm Jujubee, and on this season of Queen of Hearts, we're going all the way down to sunny, sexy Miami. I'm setting up the hottest singles in South Florida. Maybe I can find them their perfect partner, or someone to fulfill their sexiest fantasies.
A man who unconditionally loves me and is a raging feminist, and then ties me up, rubbing oils on me, then surprise gets a girl to lick my and another guy to put it in my and has a huge...
But remember, there's a twist. No one can see each other until the very end. Camera's on.
Oh, hi. Woo! Got me blushing.
Follow Queen of Hearts on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen ad-free on Amazon Music, included with Prime. Download the Amazon Music app now, or you can listen ad-free by subscribing to Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts or the Wondery app.